You do seem like Bobby Hill kicking people in the crotch for some reason.
Well, that is funny. I don't know you. That's my purse.
First you kick Hank Hill in the crotch. That's funny. Then you kick Chan Wasana in the crotch. I don't like that. I'm conflicted.
That's even funnier.
It was Khan couldn't figure it out.
What this will represent? Yo.
I was gonna write you an email, but I'm a little drunk and spelling is a sober person's game. So I feel I owe you a splanation. I'm sorry. A splanation.
Oh man, there are some great episodes. There are some not great episodes of King of the Hill though.
But that's with any show that runs a long time. Is there's going to be episodes that are just filler, that are just to get you to the next week. You may laugh a time or two. They're not great. You don't ever rewatch them. You skip over them, but they're there. All right.
So
Intro.
intro. Welcome
Just
back.
ready to talk about this topic.
Lilith is super excited today, folks. I am X7, your humble host of an Agent of Awesome, a humble host of GD Explanations. My co-host, the ever exuberant and ever so excited. You can just look. Well, you can't see her hair's covering it up, but she's super as excited. She's excited as a little girl. Lilith Draco.
Hi, welcome back. Please like, share, subscribe. Let us know your feelings on Medusa and the Gorgons. I'm super excited. I love Medusa.
That sounds like a great band name too.
Medusa and the Gorgons, right?
Copyright, trademark.
Chick band, chick band, chick band, skull.
Slanchava.
All right, what are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking another Fremont walnut and vanilla barrel-aged cuvee, which is 11%, and is pretty good.
Nice.
How about you?
I am drinking something from the land of Mexico. A wonderful and beautiful Corona Premier. Only 90 calories.
All right.
I ran out of my beer, so this is what I'm drinking.
It's called
We gotta just deal with it.
It's called Cerveza, Peggy. Can you say that?
Cerveza from Corona Premier.
El Vomitando? Remember when
And
they
no,
got
I don't have a lime in it because I don't care enough to cut up a lime. It's what it is.
You remember when the beer got the Alamo beer got infected with soap, and everyone was throwing up. And
Yes.
Peggy
I
didn't
do
like
remember
knowing
that.
it, and Hank had her drink it.
Yep.
That's a great episode. We better get on
Beer
topic.
and beer accessories.
Oh wait, you got to do a tarot reading.
Oh, yes, we are doing tarot. I am doing my horror tarot. We'll just push one up from the middle,
I'm pretty
like
sure
we
Lilith,
do.
Lilith's not quite as awesome as me, but she's working on it.
I'm getting there.
Yeah,
King of Pentacles. I think we recently did the Queen of Pentacles. Now we are at the King of Pentacles.
that guy's horny.
Oh, it's really cool. I love this deck. All right.
You love it. then
King
why
of
don't you give it?
Pentacles. King of Pentacles, upright. You are attracting wealth. You are good in business. grounded, stable, and a hard worker. Your hard work is paying off, and you are reaching goals. You are seeing things through the end and being proud of your achievements. You are enterprising, resourceful, principled, and emotionally and financially secure. So King of Pentacles reversed.
Upside down. Boy,
Look
turn
at your
around.
relationship with money and wealth. You may be over investing in wealth creation and are too focused on the material, or you may be mismanaging your finances and losing your grip on things. Stay positive and understand that this is just a phase. Learn from your past mistakes to achieve your goals. King of Pentacles.
Pentacles. That's a good
There we
looking card.
go. What was that?
He's not as cute as the cat King of Pentacles, but it's a good looking card.
It is a good looking card. I love my horror cards. Fabulous. All right. So, this episode, we are going to talk about a topic that is near and dear to my heart, has always been since I was a child. I have always loved Medusa. I have always loved mythology, whether it's Greek mythology, Norse mythology, Egyptology. I just love all Christian mythology. I just love all of the mythologies. Medusa has always been one of my favorite topics, one of my favorite characters from mythology. I have her tattooed on me. I have her story tattooed on me. One of her stories, because there's quite a few. But I have loved her since I first watched a movie from Harryhausen, which is
Personal.
Flash
friend
of the
mine.
Titans. Huh?
I've met him several times. I didn't
Flash
stay in
of
his
the
house.
Titans.
I didn't stay at his house like Abellin did, but
Right. From that very first movie, I have just, even though she's just the evil one in that movie, like she turns men into stone, she's just angry, it's part of it. And I've learned why, and I get
Right.
why. I get why. So it's not that she set out to be
no, she did not.
bad or evil. She just got dealt a bad hand and was forced into this. And so
It's
I
besides.
just have always liked her. She has always been my favorite. She hits home for me. While she is not somebody I don't really follow in my practice. I don't follow anybody in the Greek mythology. But no, I do. Hecate.
She's borderline. I mean, she's that, a little, it's a crossover because she's also other regions. So, but yes, I'd say it's
Right.
But she's minor. I mean,
She is
no
minor
offense,
for
no
me.
offense.
Right. But Medusa,
Open shoulder.
I just have always loved Medusa so much in her story. The story that I have actually tattooed. And so, while I know Medusa and her story, and this is not necessarily just about her, which is going to be a different episode later on, just strictly Medusa. We're talking about Medusa and the Gorgons. We're going to focus a little more on the Gorgons, which I'm not quite as familiar with But Medusa is a Gorgon, and so she is one of my beloved mythology characters.
She gets all
So
the press.
what? Huh?
She gets all the press.
She does. She does.
Because of she's been depicted in many movies and comic books and literature and television shows even. So
Yes.
there's just tons of, so the three Gorgon sisters, she's actually the only mortal Gorgon sister. The other
Right.
two were immortal, hence that they should still be alive and floating about.
And who knows? They may be floating about somewhere. But yes.
Well, most women have a little Gorgon in them because parts of them can certainly petrify parts of other people on
It's true.
occasion. Very.
So
Whether we want
my
to.
story of Medusa is she was a priestess of Athena, which I've got Athena here.
My
She's
beloved
upside
Athena,
down
my
'cause
beloved Athena.
Your beloved Athena, and Athena's got her owl in the apocalypse, or what is it?
Her beloved Bubo.
Bubo, but the building is my
Parthenon-
tongue isn't
Parthenon.
Parthenon. It wasn't getting that word out.
That's okay. That's okay.
And we've
Surprised I
got
couldn't.
Poseidon
Boo.
and the Kraken. Poseidon and the Kraken. So this story,
What's a Swedish monster doing in Greek islands?
who knows? So again, I got this tattoo because I love Medusa and I love this story of Medusa. She was a priestess of Athena. Poseidon wooed Medusa,
Woo! He pitched
right?
you.
And caused her to do things that a priestess would not do.
Shouldn't do in a temple anyway.
In Athena's temple, Athena found out. She got pissed off like a bitch does.
Well, her nickname.
And-
One of her names was Thunder Eyes, and I believe Thunder Eyes, eyes like thighs. So
And
got annoyed.
because of it, Athena turned her into the snake monster that majority of people know her as. You look at her in the eyes, she'll turn you to stone. Anyway, so she got turned into this snake monster, slithered off through Africa. That is where the poisonous snakes in Africa come from, is the younglings fell out of her hair, slithered off, procreated, and they are now poisonous. She was trying to be a good priestess, and she couldn't help herself because he wooed her. She couldn't help herself.
He was a god.
Fell in love, because you can't control who you fall in love with.
Right.
And then she was blamed for this and became an ugly monster that everybody feared. Because why wouldn't you? Like, why wouldn't you have hate and
I don't blame her.
issues and frustrations from just falling in love that you had no control over, and then having, this horrible thing placed on you? Of course you're gonna be awful. I would be awful.
No one would blame
To
you. No
have-
one would blame you.
Yeah, you can't blame it. Anyway, so that's the story I have on here. But while Medusa was a Gorgon, we're not here to talk necessarily just about Medusa. We're here to talk about the Gorgons. So what do you know about the Gorgons? About the sisters?
As I mentioned, two of the sisters were immortal, and the Gorgon is associated with ancient Greek for the word Gorgos, which means grim, fierce, awesome, dazzling. So it's not it's not a negative connotation or association, except for they all had the power to turn men to stone. The two sisters, I don't even know how to say that. Stheno? It's S-T-H, Uriel and Medusa. Now, I'd recently seen a movie where they said one of the Gorgons' names was Megara, but I think they just made that out of whole cloth.
What
Go
movie? Do you
figure.
remember
Go
what movie
figure,
that was?
Go figure. What was it?
Do you remember what movie that
Oh,
was?
it's the Gorgon, Hammer Films, 1964. Peter Cushing.
Oh.
Christopher Lee was the hero, which is
Oh.
a little unusual. Beautiful.
He was way young.
Yeah.
Way
Both.
young.
Yeah, but a beautiful movie. There were some things that just didn't make enough sense, but it was worth an hour and a half. It's just they were. What the hell were those? Jeez. They all lived on an island together. I don't know that. I think that's the only other Gorgon that's ever been in any sort of media. Now there are other associations with those names, and they have shown up. And Medusa has shown up in many comic books, or at least her representation. So I learned about Medusa, of course, through the Inhumans from Marvel Comics, when reading about Thor and Hercules, which led me to reading about Greek mythology and Norse mythology. And so you read about the story of of Perseus and Medusa, of course, which of course leads to somebody talking about one movie for 50 years.
It's your fault for being friends with that some person after 50 years,
Well-
even though he's talked about the same thing for 50 years.
And actually, in the last year, he hasn't mentioned it that much, which is
Well, but we also know why,
Yeah, that's true.
unfortunately, sadly.
I know, and it's weird that you always miss the annoying things the most when people
Yes.
don't. Anyway, but popular culture led me to the origins of many, Thor, Athena, that sort of thing, and even the Bastet. So there's a lot of course, there's different. The Gorgons were very famous in Greece, but there's a lot of different versions of the myth and a lot of
Right.
different versions of them. So trying to put them into one cohesive story
It's hard.
it's like putting the resurrection into one cohesive story. It just doesn't work.
It's true. Several different versions.
Yeah.
So I find it interesting that you found Greek mythology through comic books, and I found comic book adaptations of characters through Greek mythology. Greek mythology was my intro, whereas your intro was comic books.
Right, reading.
I just find that interesting that we both had different approaches to find
But
the same different
But
characters.
you found it. Well, you didn't find it through Clash of the Titans, right? You knew about it beforehand, because that movie was 80.
No, Clash of the Titans was my introduction
Okay,
to
so-
some of Greek mythology.
Right.
Granted, I can't tell you how old I was when I first watched Clash of the Titans, but that was my first introduction. I'm sure it came out before I was born, but that was my first
81.
introduction. Huh?
81. 1980.
Okay, so I was 2, so really it doesn't matter.
No,
what-
you
but that
weren't.
was my introduction to
Right.
Greek mythology, was that movie. So I started looking more into Greek mythology as a whole because of that movie, because I loved Medusa, all of Poseidon, Athena,
Pegasus? Did you like
Perseus, Pegasus. Pegasus is on here somewhere. Like, that was my introduction, and so that's what got me interested in Greek mythology, which then got me interested in all the other mythologies.
Right.
But I didn't know there were comic book adaptations
Oh,
of these Greek mythology characters until later in life.
right.
And when I say later in life, I mean I was over 18 before I realized that had even crossed over. So yes, Greek mythology, then I found it. Whereas you were
Definitely.
in comic books, and then you found Greek mythology and
Yeah.
other mythology.
Yeah, because,
Because they
Stan,
then go into Norse mythology and
well,
what have you.
I found Thor first, and then because I found the book, the Delaire's book of Norse mythology, and right next to it was their Greek mythology. I'm like, well, I
Huh,
need to find out about more about Hercules because Thor and Hercules kind of have a frenemy relationship, and it's like, well, this doesn't. Stanley took a lot of liberties, which is fine. I mean, Thor was a redhead. What a surprise! A
right.
fiery redhead who had a short temper.
Well, he is. In Norse mythology, he is. But, see, it was even later that I found Norse mythology myself. For a long time, I was really into the Greek mythology. Granted, my goddess is not. And anyway, I have side very small in the corner on certain occasions. My one. But I didn't find Norse mythology until a long time later either.
Right.
So it
Well,
really, for me growing up, was Greek mythology, and it was Medusa. Medusa was my favorite.
she was not my favorite, but that's all right. I mean, just,
I love Medusa. I mean, I tattooed her. I've always loved Medusa, even though she's, again, this probably tells a lot about my personality. But even back then, she's not a good character. We understand why,
right.
because I would not be a good character either if I had the story leading up to why I'm not bad or why I'm not
I don't
good.
blame her.
I would be pissed off too. But even then, I liked
You know,
the
Marvel.
evil.
Marvel's Medusa, the Inhuman, has the living locks. She could control her hair. What color is her hair?
Red.
Oh, it's very red. And Medusa is
Oh,
not.
I
And
know.
she's probably like 6'10" or something. She's not to be trifled with. But I mean, I met her because she took on Spider-Man. Because so did a certain widow, thinking she could capture Spider-Man, and kind of had to learn her lesson that way. But much like she did with a certain ghost. But so I mean that was where I came through. Like, oh, there's an Inhuman named Medusa. There's an Inhuman named Gorgon. I mean, it's not like Stan wouldn't take He wouldn't say those are good names. So he
Yeah.
probably introduced a lot of kids of my vintage
Oh, I'm sure.
to Norse mythology, Greek mythology.
Yep.
We really didn't stray
Yeah, he
too
did.
much into Japanese or Asian mythology or Indian or Native American because they didn't. I mean, yeah, Native American, yeah, because that was always kind of the Thunderbird was a big deal, but it was all very 60s and one side not really having. I mean, Hela was shown in Thor comics, and at first she was, the goddess of death. Just then she was not a pleasant person, but then he kind of realized that there's a whole story where she's going to kill Thor because she's pissed. She can't kill Odin, but she can kill
Yeah.
Thor. And Sif, who was not ever married to him in Marvel comics because they're stupid, because Sif is hot. It says, "Kill me instead because I love him," and that moves her, and she says, "I'm capable of that." And Odin actually killed Death, which was a mistake because.
Right.
Anyway, we digress. But
So even with Norse mythology, I knew the Norse mythology before I knew the comic book characters that were based off of it. So for me, I've always come from the mythology side versus you coming from the comic book side.
yeah, and it can be difficult to try to make those work out until you realize, well, no, he's just doing. I mean, that doesn't mean He's just using them as he's springboarding and telling his
Right.
stories. Him and Jack and whoever the other creators. So once you've got a universe established, that doesn't have any relationship to our world.
It's true.
Aside from
It's
the
true.
names, really, because
So-
Thor's got that long golden blonde hair.
So, as a follower of the Norse goddess Hel, which we need to talk about, for me, as a follower of a daughter, really, of the Norse goddess Hel, I still love Thor Ragnarok. That is my favorite
gosh.
Thor movie because
good.
it gets more into the mythology of the Norse. And so I love to see Odin and I love to see Loki. And even though that Hela is nowhere near
No,
what Hel actually is in the mythology, I still can love and appreciate that movie for what they do show as far as the mythology
it's
goes.
so good.
It is my absolute favorite.
Have I told you the Superman connection to Thor Ragnarok? You know the voice of Surtur when he comes out at the end. Spoiler alert: Surtur comes out at the end. The voice of Surtur is, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Clancy Brown, who was the in the Highlander, he was the Kurgan, but Clancy is the voice of Lex Luthor in the Superman animated series from the 90s, all the way through. So Lex Luthor, God bless
Nice.
him, God's bless him, was the destruction of, he was Surtur. And when I saw that in the credits, I'm like, that's so awesome. So there is a Superman connection from Hel and Thor to Surtur.
Excellent. Excellent.
Lex Luthor, which I think was awesome because
Yes.
I mean, you barely hear his voice. He's like in it for, I don't know, what, 2 minutes total?
Right.
And I do love the Valkyrie so much. Even though she's not my Valkyrie from the comic books, I do like her. And they show her flying on her winged horse Aragorn. She's got the dragon fang sword. It's a great movie. I don't think he's topped that movie, the director, since then, because he did Love and Thunder, and he got
Okay.
over carried away with the humor. But that movie's so good. I mean, I would, it'd be hard for me to rank it above Age of Ultron because of certain elements, but it might be equal. And I don't know that it's. I mean, as a separate movie, I might put it above Endgame or Infinity Wars, but as that one is together as a whole story, it's got to be the tops.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Ragnarok is awesome.
It is such. I don't know why, and I didn't like I'm not going to say I didn't like them. They were okay movies for me, the other Thors,
first
and
two.
I didn't see Thor Love and Thunder. But Ragnarok for me just hit.
No,
It hit.
we have certainly digressed.
We
What were
have.
What were we talking about again?
Medusa, shall we wrap it up? I think we're
gosh,
done with
Medusa.
Medusa. That's why we've moved on.
I love the Inhuman Medusa because always have. I've been programmed since a young. Someone at Marvel Comics loves their redheads because.
Stanley.
Yeah, well, maybe I don't know if Joni had red hair or not, but he talked to her. Even Patsy, even the Hellcat, red hair.
Yep.
All right, our fellow agents, our fellow believers, thank you for hanging with us so long while we talked about Medusa and way more things that may or may not be in this episode. Our editor par excellence, Lilith Draco, is my partner in crime. I am X7, and remember, the sun never sets on those who ride into it.
Bye. Commit to the bit.
I got beer.
I got bottled breast milk.
Why don't we start with the beer?
Okay.
So you like the beer?
I do. Although it's actually a lager.
Huh. What's the difference between beer and lager?
I don't know. We could look it up.